So I had comments asking me, what are these sessions that I'm doing it? How does it work? How do I do them? How do I contact the entities? Do I see them? And all that thing. So I guess like it might be a very long video, so I'll probably just do it all in general. And if I find that you're interested in one of the details, then I can start like depicting different parts, because like I add up lots of processes into one because I'm just like experimenting. I'm always trying to find new stuff that's gonna work better. And lately I found a thing that works for me, and I like doing it. But depending on what people want, I will give them a different session. So coming back, my sessions and what are they is basically it can be solo. It means I'm doing it on myself, and I sit down by myself. No one's here, and I can do it a journal style or just talk to let's say recorder, or I can do it with another person, and another person will either listen to me or ask me questions, and the other person might talk. So it depends, like if I'm giving the session or if I'm getting the session. But usually, like lately, I've been doing a two-way session, which means that Rich with FTX, he is the auditor, he's the listener, and he will ask me questions, help me to talk it out. He will listen to me, and I talk to him about my issues, and it's just like amazing because we work really well together. Um, so when it comes to doing sessions, first I will probably choose, well, not probably, like it's always a thing. When you want to work on something, you have to find an item, an issue, or a subject that you want to work on. And usually it's something that you are interested in, like you have an interest, that thing is present in your life right now, like this moment, and you can like pretty much feel it, and it it gives a good read, which means that whenever someone asks you a question about it, you have like, oh yeah, and you get fired up and you just like want to talk about it because like you're really into it. So, if you were to be asked like, about chocolate, about video games, about your money or different things, one of those topics would be like, yeah, money, yeah, my health, yeah, I want to get a better job. And you would get fired up about a specific subject. So the same way goes for me. Let's say I will do whatever through my life. And yesterday, for example, when I made a video on YouTube and I talk about my issue, how I want to make more videos, but for example, I felt like I'm making too many videos about entities. And at the same time, I felt like inside, I'm not sure if I express it out loud and on a video, but I talked about how, or thought about how I actually have a whole lot more to express on entities because I'm like learning more. I have a whole lot more to share, and it's just like it would be pretty useful and good. So what happens is that, okay, I found a thing. It's a dual item, which means the negative and the positive. I want to make videos, but I don't want to make videos. I want to make videos about entities, but I don't want to make videos about entities because it seems too much or not enough. And it's like, it's a conflict, but basically I found an item. And usually it's really good if you find just one item, and it can be negative or it can be positive, and usually you will find negative ones. Fear of heights, not being able to get out of body, being fat, having depression, not doing good in life, like relationship sucks, and like all kinds of things that you can list out. Being bad at video games, not being interested in math, not like having a hard time learning, all kinds of things that you can list out that you can work on. There are just tons of subjects that you can pick up and basically start working on to get yourself better. And for example, like I could pick up like having myopia, or like I don't see far away. Like I can see up close, but I don't see far away. So it's a thing, and I can start working on that. But doing a session on that would not mean necessarily when I'm done, I get my sight back. If I would have a cancer, and if I did the session on cancer, that doesn't mean that necessarily right after the session I'm all clear and it's as if nothing happened. No, like you clear out your issues, like things that hold you back. If I have a thing with myopia and not being able to see far, I would get rid of my issues with not doing eye yoga, just not making it a priority. And all these little things that get me in the way of doing things that makes it better for me. And you would basically get rid of the things that would hold you back from reaching your goal. If you want to get slim, you need to change your diet, you need to work out, you need to change it up. And you have a hard time doing it because you have addictions, because you have certain things. So it all comes into choosing a specific subject. And you cannot go broad. You cannot go love or money or whatever. That would be too broad of a subject. And of course, it would work, it would help you, but at the same time, you might run and just hit the wall because you talk about love, you talk about money, you talk about work or something, and if the subject is too big, you will start talking about too many topics at the same time, triggering them all, and it will cause you more stress than do you good. So you talk about, let's say, health, and you go into a, like, let's say for me, okay, I have myopia, I have scoliosis, and I just keep on like listing all those things. But my health, like, and when I would talk about it, I would name all these things, start looking at all the problems I'm having, which would get like, it would be overwhelming for me to confront. And of course I can, and I can like, I've done it in the past when I wasn't aware of this, like by myself. And it's not that I had a super huge trigger, but I know for people who like sort of they run into this problem and it was difficult for them. So, which is why it's really important to just like get it very specific. What is it about your health? What is it about your work? What is it about your life that you want to change, want to make better? And you would choose a specific item that you want to work on. So, being afraid of heights, and let's say having a hard time making videos, not being able to make enough money, and you would name specific things, and I will stop the video for a minute because I need to let my cat in. So yeah, just a second. Okay, and I received the video, so here's my cat. He's in. He just came in to say hi and sleep under my table because he always does that. So yeah, here we go. Coming back to the item and getting it all very specific. So you would find a good name for what you want to work on, and you choose a very specific problem or issue or subject or item, like depends on how you want to name it and whatever feels best for you. You pick that, and that's how I work on. Like this is the starting point, and sometimes it can take up to an hour. Like you want to do a session, but you don't really know what to work on. And I'm getting really into all the details, and I shouldn't probably have done that because it would take like tons of different videos, and I could make series out of it. But I don't know. I'm just gonna go with it, and probably it might be a real long video, so we'll see. I'm sorry if it goes too long. I might cut it. I don't know. So yeah, sometimes this whole looking for the item might go over an hour because you have lots of things going on in life and they're all present at the moment. You have like you have issues in life with your work, you have issues in life with your partner, you have issues in life with your parents and like about what you eat and how you feel and stressing out, and all of it is present right now because something triggered, and there's like chain of events that happen, and like just like it triggers you right now at this moment, and it's all present. So what you do is when you talk about a little bit about each subject, you will get better reads, or it will be easier for you to talk about certain subject. Like something out of all of those topics that you have triggered will be easier to confront, and you can just go all the way in it. So whenever you feel like you have easier time talking about it and getting it out and just talking it out, just go with that. So this is the starting point. I find an item that is good for me to work on, and that's where the fun starts. So if you do it by yourself, you would have to ask yourself questions. If you do it by someone else asks you questions about specific subject that you've chose, and you talk it out. If you do it by yourself, you can do a journal style and just write it all down, or you can just have someone to listen to you. So you would get like various questions. Like Rich set up his universal release method, and you have like a list of questions, and you just talk about it. So another thing when choosing an item, it's good to have the ing in the end, feeling, being, experiencing, like the ending ing. Helps you to set up the perfect or like a very good way to put your item into the question. So what might be some of the reasons for feeling blah blah blah, or for thinking blah blah blah, and experiencing, and you would just like go with that, and it's like it's easy to set up the question. I mean, like set up the item into the question and ask about it, and get the questions asked, and then talk about it. And that's like basically I would talk it out to Rich, and we can talk for depending on what the issue is, for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe an hour. Like depends how big it is and what it would have, like how much charge and the experiences. So this is where the fun starts for me, because once I started talking about it, my issues and what was going on, I start already recalling things. I can be talking about maybe fear of heights, maybe fear of spiders, maybe having a hard time reading or something. Doesn't matter what. Maybe like having a hard time making videos. And as I'm talking about it, at some point I start getting memories. And I start getting memories of my past life or something something similar that happened that's like very related to the subject. And I can like already see my past lives, or I can like talk about the subject and I can like, hey, I think there might be entities because I'm already sort of feeling them and I'm getting the sense of them. It doesn't necessarily mean that I see them around myself. I just get a sense, or like, you can call it like a vision, or imagine putting 3D glasses and you see another view. So it's just like that, your consciousness shift for a second and you would see like maybe spaceship, maybe group of entities, maybe the way they're messing with you. And that's like where the fun starts, because like as Rich and I talk, I start getting either memories or I start getting insights about the entities and who's messing with me and how are they doing it and all this stuff. So once I get it talked out, and basically I get a lot of it out, whatever you answer is also your agreements that you have and you can revoke. So if you have the fear of heights and you just talk about like, okay, I'm afraid of high buildings, I'm afraid of being in height, it's really hard to confront, like my body gets intense, and as you say those things, it's all agreements. You agree that your body gets intense, you agree that you feel a certain way, you agree that you think about this thing that way, and once you talk it out, it's all your agreements. So if you do it solo, you can like ask yourself the question, and as you answer it, you can just write down all those things. I feel this, I believe in this, I perceive that, and people think about this, and like you just like you list out all that, but it will be all the agreements that you can revoke, which is like really easy, because you can have a small item but you can find over 1,000 agreements on that easy enough, like depending on how big your case is on that specific subject. But so when Rich and I talk, depending how big we go, sometimes we write down the issues and basically the agreements. Sometimes we just skip on that, and whenever we move to the next process and just do the revocation, I will call up what I've saved and I will move that as well. So after I get done talking it out, I continue into looking for entities, and basically I'm just talking about the big process I'm doing here, because there's a lot of ways that you can do this sort of thing. It is like you can do it separately, just one process, but I'm kind of like combining all of them into one, because this way for me, I get more wins. I've been experimenting, this one is working for me really a lot. I'm getting great wins, and I have also insights about life, because you can just talk it out about your problems and you like, oh yeah, I got it out, I got awareness of what's going on, and I know what I have to do to change it up. So you got done with that and you feel like lightheaded and you like more like relaxed. Bam, you can finish the session right there, because you've got done with the process. You can do like whole separate processes differently. So for me, I'm just like doing it all because for me, like I just want more wins, more information, and I just like taking my time to get the proper work done. So once I'm done talking it out, I move into looking for the entities. And how do I do that? Well, first you can imagine like the meditation process. If you meditate, you can, I don't know, like close your eyes, relax, and some people will see the colors, some people will have the visuals, some people don't. And it all depends like of what kind of person you are. And my hair is getting on my face. I have to close my nose. I'm sorry about that. And it's hot. Like I close my windows so that I won't get any sounds for the video. So it's kind of hot here. Sorry about that. But anyway, yeah. So looking for entities. You can go into the meditation place. Some people have really great visuals, so they can see things with their eyes wide open. Like you can just look at me here on the screen, but at the same time, as I'm talking about the entities, the mountains, and some kind of realms with amazing like fantasy world, you can start visualizing that right away, and it'll basically you can start like seeing it in front of you. If I tell you like imagine an apple, and you can see it in your hand. Like some people have great visuals, some people don't. But it does not mean that you cannot do the process if you don't have the visuals. Because you can have the knowing, and that knowing will also work for you and it will help you out. So it's all good. Like you can do this sort of process any kind of way that works for you. So no worries if you don't have a certain kind of ability. And if you don't have a knowing and if you don't have the ability to see, for example, you can simply like, okay, you feel like there are entities that are like messing with your ability to talk or something, and that feeling will also lead to entities. Just you spotting them will be enough to get rid of them. So, coming back to that, when I start looking for entities, I basically like to close my eyes and I relax and I just start like taking maybe a minute to like breathing deeper, and also connecting with my like higher self or with my divine inner self. And here I am like at a strong position, and I move my consciousness out of my body, which means that I am here, the physical body is here, part of my consciousness is here, but I can also extract part of it out, and I can move out of body and look around and start going out and doing different things. So with that process, I start looking like scanning inside. So if you would imagine the whole galaxy or the universe, when you look out from here on Earth, you see stars, you see maybe like Mars or Venus, and you can like see that a little bit, and you're like, yeah, we're so freaking small, and like you have the whole multiverse right there out. But you can put it at the same perspective, your body being the universe, and all the bacteria, all the blood cells and different things, are like, those tiny little bits, and you would have the perspective from that. So basically, like, there's this thing where you can look at the sky and all these, I mean, like, not the sky, the multiverse, and you have all these lines, and it's the same exact thing, like our nervous system. Or you can look at the eye and just like go into the multiverse, like, it's just like we have those like similarities. So like as above, so below, and you can just look at the multiverse, and it's like it's broad, it's macro, and you are the like micro, and at the same time you are the macro, and your system inside you is the micro. So I start scanning my body, and basically I've tried out all kinds of techniques on how to do it, but I found one that I like, and it's basically just, I don't know, imagine like elevator, and every part of you, every single cell is like a level out there that you need to go up or below. And I would start like from my head, and I start scanning, and I go from my head to my toes, and I go like slowly just seeing if there are any entities in my body, and they can be like nanoparticle size, they can be like super small, they can be in clusters. And yeah, I have like another thing that I want to mention, but I'll probably go just with this. So when you're scanning, there are body phantoms, basically the entities that don't have free will. So they can like catch a thought that you had, that other people had, and they will cling to you. Like, oh, I hate I hate spiders, or I don't like rain, I don't like getting wet, and like something that's negative, and the entity basically catches the thought and clings to you. So now you might have said it, you might have heard it, but it clings to you, and then the whole cluster starts gathering, just from 1 to 1,000 to 100,000 to 1,000,000, and it's not a big thing. It can be super micro, and you will not notice. But until the thought starts getting there more often, you can start like, hey, why am I thinking about it so much? It's like really negative. So we can basically blame some of the negativity in our life on entities, but it doesn't mean that we are not responsible for it. And that's one of the biggest things. We are responsible for absolutely everything, even like how we ended up here and getting like messed over and like ended up in the prison planet. And that's another video we are gonna do. But anyway, so, I just scan my body, and I will find like clusters of entities that affect my thoughts, affect my feeling states. And depending on what kind of issue I'm working on, I will look for entities and any like agreements and different things regarding that very specific thing. I'm not gonna go broad. I'm not gonna go sideways. I'm always gonna keep right on my subject. The problem or issue that I've picked, I'm always keeping it in mind. Okay, entities related to the subject you picked, and you just go for that. No sideways, no sideways. Like it's just like you can't find it, but you will not find everything, and then you will you might skip something, and it's just gonna like feel like you did the process, but it like didn't work fully. Or just like you have to go like really strictly on one specific subject, and it takes time, of course. So I get in with that, and then I go out. And some people also ask me like, hey, how come you don't see Anunnaki? How come you don't see this? The thing is, I see all kinds of entities. There are billions, or like as many as you can think of, really. So the thing about seeing specific entities, like let's say Anunnaki, or whatever, the Greys, or I don't know, like Marduk, like you can see Satan. Some people do see them. I've seen them as well, but the thing is, when I'm doing sessions, I am concentrating on a very specific subject, and that very specific subject will find only entities related to that subject. It means that I'm like right here on a straight line, and whatever I see on the straight line will be what I work with. I will not go sideways looking for something specific, and I will not start talking about that. Of course, if they are there affecting you, then you will see them. But if I'm working on, let's say, having a hard time making videos, or having myopia, and like having myopia, basically, okay, what does it have to do with entities? They might make me lazy. There might be an entity that will like create a thought where you're like, I want like, yeah, I should do the eye yoga. And then the entity will be like, no, you should work on your project. And I'm like, yeah, I should work on my project. I took the bait, I picked it up, and I moved on my subject with letting them to control me and distract me from the thing. And so when you're on this very specific line that you're working on, and the issue, you don't necessarily see all the entities that exist. You only see what is related on that topic. So how come I don't see that? It means that because I'm concentrated on one track, I'm not going to different things, which is why I'm not talking about it. But if you want to find a specific entity, maybe Anunnaki, maybe, I don't know, the Draconians, you will concentrate on the type or different issue, and you might pick them up. That's it. So there's like no agenda or anything. Like it's just the way it works. basically, what people are connected to you feeling depressed. And you will name specific people. So it doesn't mean that all the people on earth are connected to that. No, it's just basically very specific that cause you to that state. So yeah, just wanted to get it out because like some people are like wondering. So yeah. Um, so what I do next after I scan myself is I look outwards. First, I will like scanning the surroundings around my room, and I have my eyes closed and I have my consciousness shifting out, but you can just like sort of look around like with your eyes closed. You can feel the energy. You can just sort of pick or imagine like going through the scan, like how I don't know, you've probably seen the movies or in real life when you scan something like there's a laser going that way and that way. So you can do the same thing. You can just like, okay, my energy shield goes that. If I pick something like might be hot, might be cold, might be, I don't know, like stabbing. You might have all kinds of things. You don't necessarily have to see the anti, but you feel some kind of anomaly, and that's when you know like something's not right. And that's basically when you scan through it. You can just feel like, okay, there's something here, and you're just like tracking it down in your head, and you can concentrate on those. For me, how do I see them? It's basically I shift in consciousness, I look around, and I will see entities. Sometimes though, entities know, like they pick up on your thoughts, so they know that you're coming after them, and like they start running. And sometimes they start running, sometimes they're so afraid that they try to teleport out, or they try to cloak themselves, which means like they are around you, but they will cloak like the cloaking, and you will not be able to see them because they're using their technology. Oh, so scary. But what you do is that you have thought, uncloak them, unlock them, and you undo what they did, and bam, it's gone. Easy as that. So no worries if you don't see anything. Like you can look around your room like there's nothing, and you can just like have an intention, like uncover everything that I am not seeing. And bam, things start appearing and you start seeing things that you haven't seen before. Easy as that. So as I scan through my room, I start scanning around my surroundings, around the people that I'm connected and working. Like if you have a specific issue and other people are related, you can also scan their bodies, their environment, and find the entities that are messing with them so that they would mess with you. Basically, the entity will cause specific all kinds of thoughts to other person, all kinds of cravings, intentions, and setting up different situations where they fall for the bait, and then taking the bait, it goes into the negative situation, and the person with negative situation comes to you and causes negative situation to you. So it's a chain of events, but that's how you like to work. The entities. So yeah, you scan your surroundings and then you can just like look around the earth, and you don't necessarily have to go through every street. You can just like back up, like basically move your perception out, and you can see like the earth, like a globe, or however you might see the earth. Like if you think it's flat, you can just go through flat. If you think like it's realm, you can just go through realm. Like whatever fits your belief system, you can do that. And I will say that like just the way I do it, it doesn't mean that it's the perfect way or the right way. It just works for me. So that's it. Like you find your own way to do this, whatever for you is the best thing that for you to do. So that being said, scan the earth, your surroundings, and just keep moving out. Keep moving to space, and you can like have just basically a feeling like, oh, there are that side, on that side, or behind me, and you can like pick up a spaceship. You can pick up entities and clusters and different things. Me, I see that. I see their like how they look. I see how many there are, but at the same time, I can see huge spaceship, and that huge being, let's say the whole city fits in. Like it's like maybe cigar shaped spaceship. It's long from the outside, and you can move in. And there's like cities and like skyscrapers and all kinds of things just going on inside, and you can like, wow, that's huge. So like there's all kinds of sizes out there. You can just have a spaceship for two people, or a spaceship for like a whole like 100,000 or 500,000 entities out there. Like it depends on their technologies. And let's put it into the multiverse is really vast, so you can see absolutely anything and everything. Um, so with that spaceship, so that you wouldn't have to go through every room, you can simply, and the way I do it is just scan through the spaceship as well. And you feel like the negative, or you feel certain thing, and you don't necessarily have to count. It just comes as a knowing. Like you scan the spaceship and like, okay, there's 500,000 entities, or like 100 or 100,000, maybe 5,328. And you pick up a number, and basically since Rich and I are on the meter, so it reads. It reads that like I pick a number and bam, it was the right one. Because just like you have to know, the information comes to you because you are such a amazing, powerful being that you know it all. You don't like You don't need to remember things or count them one by one. You know, you have the knowing. You are that powerful. Like you're connected to all of them in one certain ways, so you will pick them up anyways. And that's the same way when I work on my body. Like if I find the specific issue that I'm working on, one time when I was doing the process and just scanning through my body, I found over 2 million entities, like 2,483,728. And that was like a freaking huge number. But what happened is that when I picked up the number, bam, I used the galactic vacuum to suck it up and like remove them. And the galactic vacuum comes from the Cameron Day method of like soul contract revocation. So you can just like read up on that and just it's a pretty good thing to use. But you can also just like that, like be Thanos or whatever you want to be your hero and just like slash them with your katana or like however you imagine getting rid of them, do that. Or you can send them love. Just send them love, and they don't like that, and basically you will change their vibration, and they all of a sudden become kittens or nice beings, and there you go, not niche anymore. So that being done, when I look through the entities, I scan through my body, I look around, and whoever I pick up that is causing the issue, I will usually try to ask, okay, who is the leader of your group? And sometimes the being I'm talking to might be the leader itself, sometimes it might be they're like underlings, and they will like, okay, yeah, there's the leader right there, and you need to go there. Like, and they will tell you, sometimes they might hold off the information, but you can just intent, like tell me right now, and you will get the knowing from that. Or like the way I do it, sometimes I just touch the being, like we might be talking like face to face, and I touch him, and basically I will have the memory of whatever he experienced, or he or she, and I recall the like memories of that being. So now I know who's connected, and I just go onto like their leader, or like their there's a whole hierarchy thing, and it's like huge. It's really huge thing. So when I get done with that, I find the leader, and then like we have a talk. And I ask all kinds of questions like, why are you doing this? Why are you messing with me? What exactly are you trying to achieve? And just all kinds of questions, the things that you want to find out, you can get it all. You can ask them about their technology. And the thing is, like, we as beings, we are really powerful. So when we're out there, they respect us. They know that we are powerful, and it'll be just one thought for us to destroy them, if we want to destroy them. One thought for us to get them out of this place and get them into a nice place, realm where they can just start changing, and you can like make them loving being. Like you can do anything you want. Like there are no limitations, which is why they respect you, because they know that if they mess up the conversation, you can do what's the worst for them, and like they don't want that. They want to exist like everyone. So having the conversation, I always try to find out as much information as possible. Like how do they work, what technologies they use, what are the connections, what is the hierarchy they have, and I like just try to find the story about the specific incident. And it's funny how come like this dual item that I had yesterday, wanting like thinking that I'm making too many videos about entities, and also thinking that I'm not making too like enough videos about entities. It was a dual item, but I've picked up entities, and that's like Rich and I made a video yesterday calling like about the entities called the Whisperers. I just like whispered like named them like that because like I literally see them around people, and they're like whispering thoughts and ideas, and people like, oh, they pick it up, they think it's theirs, and all of a sudden like it's easy to manipulate anyone. So that being done, you get done with the hierarchy, you get done with their leaders. Once you take out the head of this whole thing, then the issue is solved. So I'm done with the anti-process, and now I move into revoking the agreements and soul contracts. And basically, I'm still eyes closed, and I will look for like specific things like what are the connections, what is it that we have in common, what are some agreements I've made regarding this whole subject I'm working on right now. And basically I will find like mutual agreements. I had with the entities, like I've had agreements with entities where it's okay for them to mess with me and make my life hardcore, because otherwise it'd not be fun for them, because I would be too powerful. And I agreed to let them mess with me in tons of levels, because if I was powerful, I could defeat them really fast, and it would not be fun for them. Like, and I'm a good being, so I'm like, oh my god, poor thing. Yeah, I should help you. And you go into like this empathy and trying to be good and kind, and they're using that. Like they don't really care about what you think and how you feel. Like they just want to be in control and dominate this whole place. So looking for agreements, and there's like all kinds of things that you can find. and you can remove them using the soul counter revocation. So basically, I would name the agreement, and I would imagine the galactic vacuum, sucking it up, like deleting it, and then getting rid of the reinstatement clauses. These are the agreements that come back after you revoke them, and then copies, backups, mirrors, and then counterparty copies. And counterparty copies are basically the agreements with other beings and entities that, like, you made an agreement, and someone else, like, who was watching, like, wrote that down as well, and now they have your agreement. So you basically track them down and remove them, and then you can go for the implants and engrams and beliefs and perceptions and attributes and like identities, entities, frozen emotions, like just name all of it. And there's a lot of things that you can remove, and this is really helpful. This process is amazing. So once I get done with that and removing the agreements, and how that happens, like the way I see it, like you can imagine agreement like as a book or as a paper with something written down, and you basically can gather like 50 papers, 50 documents, or like 100,000 documents, like depending on how much you find. But you've looked them not only this life, but on this timeline and all the other lifetimes in the past, present and future, and within all dimensional levels and realities. Like you pick all of it, like the whole multiverse and wherever else you had a body, like the parallel realm, where you probably made a similar agreement, connected, and you find everything that's related to that specific subject, and you remove it, which is why people after this sort of revocation, they feel like, wow, a lot of change, and like they feel like lightheaded, they feel like a lot of things came out. And so, which is really important, and what I found, like what I'm using lately, is after this revocation, once you get done with all the entities, once you remove it all, I start getting the energy that I've used up to all those agreements, to all these issues. So basically, if I use my, like, I don't know, like love, or I use my, like, happiness or motivation, and something happened and it was canceled, like, I'm happy, and then bam, it's like, oh yeah. So all the energy that you've lost when all these things happen and all these issues connected to your item, basically you get all the energy back, and you just like go through your heart center and just fill out your body and fill out all the empty places that you got out. And at the same time, you start looking for the or I start looking for the missing soul aspects or just soul fragments. So basically, if that item that I'm working on right now, and let's say my yesterday's item was the thing about the video, like making too many videos about entities and not making too many, like enough videos about entities, and probably missing assets would have been like feeling inspired, feeling motivated, like knowing that I have to tell the message to the world and like all those aspects. And it's just like, you can put it in like, the personality that you've had that was like pushing you forward to make that video, make that thing happen. And personalities, emotions, feelings that you've had, you just get it all back and you fill it up. And you could find like confidence and awakening and like being more loving, being more inspired and energized, and you could just get that sort of part of you back. But you invite them. It's not like, hey, come back here, yeah, you here, come here. Like you don't do that. Like you're pretty much kind. You can do the whole opponent technique, and basically it's like just having the conversation. There's like 4 commands. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you, and thank you, or thank you and I love you. Like it doesn't really matter how you put the listing, but basically, if it was my specific issue, I just like touched my cat. I'm sorry, but I would pick up specific issue and like, okay, other aspects of me that are like loving and creative and motivated. I'm sorry that I started thinking that I should not make videos. I'm sorry that I was like not motivated anymore. I'm sorry that I like didn't listen to you and didn't use your motivation to do the thing. And please forgive me for being lazy. Please forgive me for I don't know, just choosing other priorities. And just please know that I love you and I thank you for all the things you do. And you have 4 steps and you put like whatever conversation you want to have with them and you explain what happened. You can literally see your other parts become like having a body or just being like a consciousness, and you talk to them, you give them an invitation. If they don't take it, leave them be. It's okay. Sometimes some of your parts are like, yeah, I will get back, but once you get out of Earth, because this place is toxic, I don't want to be there. And you're like, okay, yeah, sure. But sometimes, like, actually quite often those assets of you will come back and fill you up, and all of a sudden you might not see the differences right away, but like I've had like all kinds of experiences. Like I've got my assets back, and all of a sudden once I got it back, I started getting ideas and inspiration, and I was like, I want to do stuff. Or other times I got it back and I was like, okay, yeah, I think I got it. And after a few days, all of a sudden, I see my personality change big time, and I'm feeling like really righteous. I'm feeling like sort of that proud, cocky thing, but it's not in negative ways. It's more like I will not allow people to step on my head and kick me and spit on me. I will more like fight for myself, for my rights, and I will not let people to look down on me or something like that. Like, it depends on what kind of situation you put it in, but basically, if a guy comes over and like tells you, hey, your place is in the kitchen because you're a woman, stay there, like you don't have any meaning in life, I'll be like, I might start talking back right now. I might say something and argument my way, and like just I will not let people to like really like smash me all this stuff. So like I see the changes. I'm like sort of finally going for my goals, and it's pretty amazing. Like I really like the changes I'm getting. So yeah, and then there's this whole past lives. It's a really big thing, and hmm, usually it depends on your issue that you're working on, because sometimes I pick it and I don't do this whole stuff with entities. I then look for the agreements, uh, depending really on the item. But if you talk yourself out, like you come, like let's come back to the beginning where we were choosing the item, and you talk it out, and you start picking like, hey, something similar happened in the past. Yeah, this thing, and you find whatever specific, and you basically close your eyes and concentrate on that specific thing. The traumatic incident that included the pain and unconsciousness related to your picked up item. And you would just like look at that stuff. Like maybe you just for a few seconds recall the moment where you were hit in the chest, or someone cut your head off, or someone like said something, and you recall a very short like frame of whatever happened in there. So your mission is to go to that place, like recall what happened, look through the like what's the duration of the time period out there, what did you do, what happened, and like you just scan through the whole thing several times, and you basically the idea there is to confront the traumatic incident, look to what happened, and have it releasing. But if it doesn't release, you have to go back even earlier. So if you've had an incident where you were shot, where someone broke your arm, where someone said something and it really hurt you, and basically you've experienced pain or you were unconscious, and basically you can like even be knocked out and someone says a command and like someone says something negative and it becomes a command in your life, and you pick it up there and you can have it here, like a fear of heights, and you can literally like in another world you were working and you've accidentally hit your leg or hit your arm, and that hurts, and somewhere in the background someone says like, I'm afraid of heights, and at that moment you picked it up and it becomes a command in this world, and all of a sudden you have fear of heights because someone else said when you experience pain on the unconsciousness. So it's a whole different thing, and your mission is to go through the incident, recall what happened, go through the details several times, and if it's releasing, you just keep on doing it until it releases fully. If it doesn't release, you go for the earlier and earlier until you find the core where it all started. And recalling disagreements, you basically have to confront what happened, have to look through the station, find what maybe the decisions you've made, maybe some of the certain feelings you felt, whatever happened, the pain you felt, and like all kinds of things, and you just recall it, and once you look at it, and if you find the very core where it started, and you just work through that incident again and again and again until it fully releases, like it was traumatic and like hard to look at, but the more you talk about, the easier it is for you to talk about, the more it's releasing, and all of a sudden it seems like the memory of whatever happened is like going out and you just start losing the memory. Basically it is there, but you've removed whatever was traumatic, and all of a sudden the item that you were working on released. So doing this sort of work, and you release the very start, where the very core, when you look for entities after that, I had a very hard time finding entities, because once I removed the core, all the lives I've had after that uh, basically had entities, but once I remove the core, it's like the whole chain, bam, explodes, and, well, it doesn't actually have to explode, but it deletes the memory of a specific incident or trauma or whatever, and the specific emotion I felt, and since it deletes on all the timelines, you will have the memory of what happened, but you will not have the traumatic thing affecting you anymore. And that also releases the entities that were also affecting the situation. So once I look for the entities after I've done the past life thing, I cannot find them. it'll be really hard for me to look at them, and I will like more likely find the agreements that I've made, or like okay, I had a thing with having fear of heights, and I just like removed like or worked through the past lives, and all of a sudden I will like, what did I agree to? Like I will have the fear of heights because it hurt me, because my family died, because something happened, and that caused you to have fear of heights. And there you go. And you release all that, and all of a sudden you might release a traumatic thing, but you will also probably have it all removed on this present life, and you will not have the fear anymore. You will not have the thing going on anymore. And after that process, once you get done with the agreements, you just like get rid of it because it's like affecting your life in a negative way. If it's working for you, if it's helping for you, just leave it be. And then you just like go looking for the energy again and the missing soul aspects. So yeah, sessions with Akvile, huh? How does it work for you, huh? Because it's a lot of information, it's a lot of thinking, but that's the way I do this process. You can do all of them separately. It doesn't necessarily have to last that long, but it's a big thing. So I hope that answers some of your questions, and now you will know what I mean when I am talking about the sessions that I'm doing. Because like it certainly takes like a few hours to get it done, and depending on the issue I'm working on, but it's a good thing to know. It's a good thing to do, and I've been having great wins. I've seen people having great wins, so if it helps you, if it gives you an idea of how it works, you can start doing it on yourself. You can also work with me. Depends whatever you want. Like I just hope that this information sort of serves you and like helps you to at least either get an idea of how it works, or maybe you have all the steps you need to actually do the whole process yourself. So yeah. Uh, Again, one of the tips, if you do start doing sort of process of whatever I talked about right now, if you do try to recall your past lives, please be sure that you do stay on the present item and you don't go sideways. If you have fear of heights, you don't necessarily go looking at what happened and all the pain and blood and stuff. You just go like fear of heights specifically. Because once you start shifting your attention going sideways and picking other items, it'll go on different timelines and cause you more pain, and it'll be hard to confront because you make it too heavy yourself. So you have to always stay on the specific topic that you choose. And that's something to keep in mind. So yeah, I hope this video was useful. It was a long one. I might cut it into. I'm not sure if I'll cut it or not, but yeah, it's a long one. So hopefully you'll find something useful. And thank you for watching. If you watched it all, and just thank you for watching anyways. Yeah, so I'll see you next time. Bye.